Imagine a world where a young girl, just days away from giving birth, disappears without a trace. This is not a fragment of a dark fairy tale, but the real and unsettling story of Celina Mays. In December 1996, the town of Willingboro, New Jersey was cloaked in a chilling mystery when 12-year-old Celina, 9 months pregnant, vanished into the cold winter night. Celina's life prior to her disappearance was fraught with challenges. Born in the vibrant city of Miami, Florida, she moved to New Jersey after her mother's tragic death from a brain aneurysm. Her father, C.J. Mays, won a bitter custody battle, and Celina's upbringing took a drastic turn. She was homeschooled in a strict religious environment, isolated from the outside world under the stern watch of her father's church community. At only 11, Celina's pregnancy emerged as a shocking revelation, drawing scrutiny and disbelief from those around her. Then, as silently as a shadow, she disappeared, leaving behind a community grappling with questions and a family reluctant to seek answers. Celina's story is not just a disappearance, it's a chilling puzzle that begins in the heart of her family. Born into turbulence, Celina's life was never ordinary. The vibrant city of Miami, Florida welcomed her in 1984, but beneath the sunny exterior, her family life was stormy, marred by domestic violence and the shadows of drug abuse. These early years painted a stark contrast to the city's lively streets and sandy beaches. Tragedy struck when Celina was just 8. Her mother, Lynn, succumbed suddenly to a brain aneurysm, plunging the young girl's life into further chaos. The loss of her mother sparked a fierce custody battle, eventually won by her father, C.J. Mays. This legal victory, however, did not bring solace. Instead, it ushered in a new chapter of isolation. C.J., deeply entrenched in his religious beliefs, took Celina away from the broader world, homeschooling her within the confines of his church's strict doctrines. The vibrant, open playgrounds of Miami were replaced by the silent, restrictive halls of spiritual discipline. With her father's victory, Celina's world shifted dramatically, marking the beginning of an even more secluded life. A new home, a new school, but for Celina, a narrowing world. After her mother's sudden death, Celina Mays found herself under the guardianship of her father, C.J. Mays. Her new life was starkly different from her earlier years in Miami. Celina was soon enveloped in the austere arms of her father's church community, where her daily life and education were strictly governed by religious doctrine. Homeschooled within the confines of the church, Celina's curriculum was far from typical. It was deeply infused with religious teachings, focusing more on scriptural interpretation than on conventional subjects like math or science. This educational approach not only limited her academic horizons, but also her social interactions, tethering her almost exclusively to church members. The church's influence permeated every aspect of her life. Social events, personal friendships, even the books she read were filtered through a rigid religious lens. The community, tightly knit and insular, became her entire world. It was a world where conformity was enforced and questioning the status quo was frowned upon. As Celina grew, so did the scrutiny of her personal life. Her activities, her thoughts, and her burgeoning adolescence were all closely monitored. It was within these confining walls that Celina's personal crisis would unfold. At the tender age of 11, she faced an unimaginable challenge. In this strict and isolating environment, a shocking revelation emerged. Celina was pregnant at just 11. A cold December night in 1996 marked the last time Celina was seen. It was just days before Christmas, a time typically filled with joy and anticipation. But for 12-year-old Celina Mays, the streets of Willingboro, New Jersey, held a different fate. That evening, Celina had attended a regular gathering at her father's church, a place that had become both her sanctuary and her cage. Witnesses later recounted seeing her there, her pregnancy visibly advanced, her demeanor quiet, introspective. After the gathering, she returned to the home she shared with her extended family, a home that was no stranger to controversy and strict religious beliefs. What transpired in the hours that followed remains shrouded in secrecy. Celina retired to her room, her usual nighttime routine, but by morning her bed was empty, the only trace of her presence being the indents on her pillow, and the sheets pulled back, as if she had left in a hurry. The response from Celina's family was perplexingly subdued. Hours turned into days before her disappearance was reluctantly reported to the authorities by her family. Their hesitance, coupled with their minimal cooperation with the police, sparked immediate concern and suspicion within the community. Questions arose. Why the delay? What were they possibly hiding? As the night turned into weeks with no sign of Celina, the mystery deepened and suspicions grew. What happens when those who should help are the ones who hinder? This question becomes painfully relevant in the stalled investigation of Celina Mays' disappearance. As weeks turned into months and months into years, the hope of uncovering the truth dimmed under the weight of silence and secrecy. The initial stages of the investigation were met with a palpable resistance from Celina's family and their church community. Despite their outward expressions of concern and distress, their actions told a different story. The family's reluctance to fully cooperate with law enforcement raised eyebrows and suspicions. Interviews were often delayed or avoided, and crucial information seemed to be withheld intentionally. Adding complexity to the investigation was the figure of Sean Smith, Celina's cousin. His troubling past came to light when he was later arrested for assaulting 2 teenage girls. This revelation cast a shadow over his character and led investigators to probe deeper into his relationship with Celina. Was there more to his story that could provide a lead in Celina's case? Unfortunately, answers remained elusive as cooperation was minimal. The church, a towering presence in Celina's life, also became a fortress of silence. Attempts by law enforcement to penetrate this close-knit community were met with polite yet firm resistance. The church's insular nature, combined with its control over its members, created an environment where secrets could be easily kept and outsiders kept at bay. As the years passed, the lack of new evidence and the dwindling number of cooperative witnesses only compounded the frustration. The investigation seemed to be locked in a stalemate, with every lead running into dead ends. The community that should have rallied to bring a young girl and her unborn child home instead seemed more concerned with protecting its own interests and secrets. With key figures evading and obstructing, the quest to find Celina hit wall after wall. The walls of silence built by those closest to her not only hindered the investigation, but also left us wondering what could have been if only they had chosen to help. Years pass, but some wounds never close. As the years rolled on, the mystery of Celina Mays' disappearance only deepened, shadowed by the deaths of key figures who once held pieces of her story. Her father, C.J. Mays, who had taken full custody after her mother's sudden death, passed away without revealing any new information about his daughter's fate. His death closed a chapter but opened a cavern of unanswered questions. Celina's cousin, Sean Smith, once a figure of suspicion due to his later criminal activities, also left this world, taking with him any secrets he might have held about that cold December night. The passing of these central figures left a palpable void in the investigation, complicating efforts to piece together Celina's last known days. Despite these setbacks, the resolve to find Celina has not waned. The local community, together with law enforcement, continues to push for answers. Vigils are still held, and Celina's name is kept alive in the hopes of sparking new leads. The police revisit the case periodically, using advances in technology and forensics to re-examine old evidence, hoping for a breakthrough. Community members, touched by the tragedy, have taken to social media and other platforms, circulating her story widely, ensuring it reaches ears that might one day unlock the long-stifled truth. As figures from her past passed away, the silence around Celina's disappearance grew louder. The echo of her absence reverberates through time, a haunting reminder of the young girl and her unborn child, whose stories remain untold. Over 2 decades later, the echoes of Celina's voice still seek justice. As we delve into the current state of Celina Mays' case, it's clear that the passage of time has done little to pierce the veil of mystery surrounding her disappearance. The investigation into Celina's vanishing has seen numerous twists and turns. Initially hampered by a lack of cooperation from her family and their religious community, the case went cold. However, renewed interest has been sparked over the years by various media exposures and public appeals for information. Despite these efforts, no substantial leads have surfaced that could conclusively resolve the case. Law enforcement agencies have periodically revisited Celina's file, hoping that new technologies and forensic methods might shed light on her whereabouts or reveal new evidence. Yet, each review has concluded without a breakthrough, leaving more questions than answers. The impact on Celina's family and the broader community has been profound. The uncertainty and grief have been a heavy burden to bear, particularly for those who knew her personally. Community vigils and public memorials are held, keeping Celina's memory alive and pressing for continued attention on her case. Moreover, this unresolved case has prompted discussions on the safety of children in highly insular communities and the challenges law enforcement face in such environments. It serves as a stark reminder of the complexities involved in solving missing persons cases. As the search continues, the mystery of what happened to Celina Mays remains a haunting question. Scene script: a missing child, a community shaken, a story unfinished. Celina Mays' disappearance echoes the profound challenges faced in the search for missing children. Cases like hers highlight the critical need for vigilance and cooperation in unraveling such mysteries. Despite the passage of years, the quest for truth never ceases, as every missing child leaves behind a ripple that touches hearts and challenges our justice system. What truly happened to Celina Mays and her unborn child? Her story, a stark reminder of the depths of mystery that still await resolution.